Hare Krishna, everyone. Say Jai Shri Krishna. So, I will just read from the Bhagavad Gita, as it is, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder, Acharya of the Hare Krishna movement, and we'll just read from chapter 2, contents of the Gita summarized, chapter 20. So if everybody could please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I'll just chant the Sanskrit and then read the English. Najayate mrite va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavitava nabuya ajo nitya shashvato yam parano nahanyate hanyamane sharire. Translation. For the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever-existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. So this is Krishna speaking to Arjuna. Purport. Qualitatively, the small atomic fragmental part of the Supreme Spirit is one with the Supreme. He undergoes no changes like the body. Sometimes the soul is called the steady, or kutastha. The body is subject to 6 kinds of transformations. It takes its birth from the womb of the mother's body, remains for some time, grows, produces some effects, gradually dwindles, and at last vanishes into oblivion. The soul, however, does not go through such changes. The soul is not born, but because he takes on a material body, the body takes its birth. The soul does not take birth there, and the soul does not die. Anything which has birth also has death, and because the soul has no birth, he therefore has no past, present, or future. He is eternal, ever-existing, and primeval. That is, there is no trace in history of his coming into being. Under the impression of the body, we seek the history of birth, etc., of the soul. The soul does not at any time become old, as the body does. The so-called old man, therefore, feels himself to be in the same spirit as in his childhood or youth. The changes of the body do not affect the soul. The soul does not deteriorate like a tree, nor anything material. The soul has no byproduct either. The byproducts of the body, namely children, are also different individual souls, and owing to the body they appear as children of a particular man. The body develops because of the soul's presence, but the soul has neither offshoots nor change. Therefore the soul is free from the 6 changes of the body. In the Katha Upanishad 1-18, we also find a similar passage which reads, Jayate mrite va vipaschennayam kutoschenna bubu yakaschet ajo nitya shashvato yam parano nahanyate hanyamane sharire. The meaning and purport of this verse is the same as in the Bhagavad Gita, but here in this verse there is one special word, vipaschet, which means learned or with knowledge. The soul is full of knowledge, or full always with consciousness. Therefore, consciousness is the symptom of the soul. Even if one does not find the soul within the heart where he is situated, one can still understand the presence of the soul simply by the presence of consciousness. Sometimes we do not find the sun in the sky owing to the clouds, or for some other reason, but the light of the sun is always there, and we are convinced that it is therefore daytime. As soon as there is a little light in the sky early in the morning, we can understand that the sun is in the sky. Similarly, since there is some consciousness in all bodies, whether man or animal, we can understand the presence of the soul. The consciousness of the soul is, however, different from the consciousness of the Supreme, because the Supreme Consciousness is all knowledge, past, present, and future. The consciousness of the individual soul is prone to be forgetful. When he is forgetful of his real nature, he obtains education and enlightenment from the superior lessons of Krishna. But Krishna is not like the forgetful soul. If so, Krishna's teachings in the Bhagavad Gita would be useless. There are two kinds of souls, namely the minute particle soul, Anu Atma, and the super soul, Vibhu Atma. This is also confirmed in the Katha Upanishad 1.2.20 in this way. Both the super soul, Paramatma, and atomic soul are situated in the same tree of the body within the same heart of the living being, and only one who has become free from all material desires as well as limitations can, by the grace of the Supreme, understand the glories of the soul. So this is the last few sentences. Krishna is the fountainhead of the super soul also, as will be disclosed in the following chapters, and Arjuna is the atomic soul, forgetful of his real nature. Therefore he requires to be enlightened by Krishna or by his bona fide representative, the spiritual master. Om Jnanatipadandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshulan Malitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukham Kadidvachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinitaranam Vansha Kapadurubhishcha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So it's very nice that all of you came to the temple today, visit the temple. I was hearing the nice songs you all were singing. I was thinking you should come more often, sing songs. But yeah, it's nice in the sense that also, just in and of itself, coming to the temple and singing songs about Krishna. But aside from that, it's nice that you came to support your fellow friends or family or friend family. Jyotika and Narendra Soni, very nice of you to do that. I'm sure they're happy that you all came, right? You're happy? So it's always nice to give each other support when needed in different ways. And yeah, it's always pleasant to get together and hear and chant about Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and also accept food offered to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, prasad. It's always nice. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam Yome Bhakti Prachati. So if you offer me with love, and if Krishna says, if you offer me with love and devotion of fruit, flower, water, leaf, I will accept it. Now, of course, if you have more to offer to Krishna, then you should offer more. But Krishna is saying that even if whatever you have, any person throughout the whole entire world, no matter how destitute they are, they could get a leaf from somewhere or some water. But of course, it's the devotion which Krishna accepts. But so it's nice to get together and also honor prasad, Krishna's prasadam. And these two processes actually are extremely powerful. These processes of hearing about Krishna or chanting about Krishna, Krishna Kirtan, and accepting prasad, food offered to Krishna, extremely powerful processes. And one of our spiritual teachers by the name of Rupa Goswami, within Gaudiya Vaishnava line, he quotes a verse from one of the Vedic literatures. It says, Ata Shri Krishna Nama Adi Naba Vedgram Indriya Sevan Mukhe Jivadal Swayameva Spratada. So he says that the material blunt senses, means the material senses, cannot perceive God, cannot perceive God, cannot perceive Krishna. But by engaging the senses in the service of Krishna, and he specifically he says the tongue, by engaging the senses, the tongue in the service of Krishna, by taking prasad and chanting about Krishna, Krishna Kirtan, and it says Krishna reveals himself. So Krishna reveals himself by this process. So whatever the occasion, whether it's a marriage ceremony, or whether it is somebody passing away, or whether it's somebody's birth, or whether it is a hair cutting ceremony, or this ceremony, or that ceremony. There's so many ceremonies, right? It's nice. Then it's good to do these things. Engage in Krishna Kirtan, have Krishna Prasad. It's important. And why is that? Because it's important because within the Vedic literature it also says there's a point behind human life. And the point is, I'm trying to remember that verse. Hopefully I'm not forgetting the point, right, of human life. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. So now that we have the human form of life, it's time to inquire. Into what? Into whatever, the stock market, or politics, or whatever. What's the best deal at the nearby fashion store? Okay, we may do that. Whatever. We may have to do those things. Buy clothes. Obviously, we have to fashion this and that, and stock market, whatever. We may have to do these things. But if the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, so many other books say that if that's all we do, we're considered to be living a life that is not being utilized properly. So we have to atato brahma jigyasa, inquire into the absolute truth. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita. We have the Bhagavad Gita. We have so many other books. And we could read every day. We just read a little bit. They say about our spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He said that he wrote so many books. Every day he was getting up very early in the morning. After midnight he would get up, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. in the morning, stay up translating these books, commenting on these books. So he said that he was quoting himself. He says, drops of water wear away stone. So if you have a drop of water and it's drop on a stone, it will wear away the stone. So he was making the point that every day a little bit I was translating, I was commenting on this a little bit every day. And I made it through so many books. So similarly, in relation to reading, we may not have so much time. I know it's a busy world and there's a lot going on. But every day, if we just a little bit read, then drops of water wear away stone. We'll be able to get through books. I get through books like that, actually. I just read a little bit every night, and I went through so many books. So yes, whatever the occasion to get together and have this satsang is important. It's good. And as this particular senses in the service of Krishna, Krishna revealing himself, enthusiastic. Utsaha. That's in Sanskrit. Utsaha means enthusiasm. Yeah. So here in the Bhagavad Gita, in this particular verse, Krishna is talking about the soul, and that's chapter 2. Chapter 2, mainly Krishna is talking about the soul, Atma. And he makes very important points that for the soul or for the Atma, there, as this verse saying, there's no birth, there's no death. The soul's eternal. So in other words, whoever we are, whatever particular body we find ourselves in, we're souls within the body, different bodies. Wherever we are in the world, whoever we are, whatever religious organization we belong to and so on, we all have a soul. We are the soul. And that means that we don't die. Just the material body dies. As being brought up here, there's 6 changes of the body. It comes into existence, as Prabhupada says, it grows, produces some offspring, means children, dwindles, and then finally is non-existent anymore. So when this happens to somebody we love or we know, it may be difficult, and generally it is. Or actually, in all cases, it is. Because we feel that we won't get that person's association anymore, or their guidance, or be able to speak with them, and so on. And one person brought this up to Srila Prabhupada one time. He said that Krishna spoke the whole Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, and then some of Arjuna's children, some of his son, or one of his sons died, was killed, and he was lamenting about it. So what is that? They're trying to find some fault in Arjuna. Now Prabhupada said, well, that is natural. It's not that you become spiritual, you become transcendental, and you don't have any feelings anymore. It's natural to feel some lamentation, to feel some sorrow within your heart when somebody leaves. It's natural. So that's what he was saying. So, yeah, it is natural. But a very important thing to note is that if there's difficulties in our life, which generally there are at times, you may have difficulties, whatever, financial, or with your children, or with your body, or whatever it may be. I'm not trying to depress anybody here, but it's not a bad thing. Why? Because you could take that trouble and those problems and just try to be more God conscious, be more Krishna conscious. In other words, like Queen Kunti, right? Pandavas, Queen Kunti, they went through so many difficulties, but the difference between them and ordinary people is they took shelter of Krishna. They accepted Krishna's shelter. They used it as a way to become more Krishna conscious. So that's what we should do whenever there's some difficulty. Do that. Become more Krishna conscious. And aside from that, we should try to realize that, yes, there is a soul, and no one really dies. And factually, people have even said that after the death of somebody, they've actually felt more close to them, interesting enough. Like my spiritual teacher, His Holiness Giriraj Swami, a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, he had a very dear friend, and the friend passed away at some cancer. He passed away. But throughout his life, he said, my spiritual teacher said that he felt that he was still very, very close to him, even though he left, like his, spirit, eternal spirit, very close. And he actually felt like his presence regularly, in a good way, not like a weird, ghostly way or something, but in a good way, positive. So that's available for loved ones. So yeah, but ultimately Krishna is advising Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, do not lament. That lamenting, okay, fine, you feel some sorry, but also another guru that I'm thinking of is kind of funny, or he was a humorous person, but he had some disciples, and he told his disciples, okay, because he knew he was leaving. He had cancer. He knew he was leaving, so he said, okay, you could cry for some days and carry on, but after a few days you have to move on. You can't just get stuck there. You have to move on with your regular business. So that's important. Yeah. So, so in conclusion, thank you all for coming, and I'm sure Jyotika and Narendra-san are very happy that you made it, and I hope you have a Krishna conscious time here, joyful time. And does anybody have any, I don't know, questions or comments or about anything I said? This is your only opportunity for this occasion, because what's going to happen is that these moments are going to end and we're going to move on. So if you want to speak now, you have to speak now, because this event's not coming back. This is like a one-time event. So, but if you don't have anything to say, that's fine too. So, okay. All right. Thank you. Hare Krishna.